This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet, full of all the stuff that I love. And today, a hopefully short episode while we continue to explore the wonderful world of Neo-Noir. We're going to look at the third film in this box set, After Dark, Neo-Noir Cinema, Volume 1. Let's check it out. We did previous episodes on the first two films in that box set, including After Dark, My Sweet, really good, and Mortal Thoughts, not so great. But today we're going to look at the third film in the collection, which is Rush. It's from 1991. It's 2 hours long in color. This one is about two undercover narcotics officers in Texas in the 1970s. One's a veteran, one's a rookie, and they infiltrate the drug scene and try to bring down a drug lord. Jason Patric, who was in After Dark, My Sweet, appears again in this one. He was chosen because of his performance in After Dark, My Sweet. The producer and director saw him in that, chose him for this. He has some very real, edgy moments in this film that are quite good. He even shoots up saline. Now, part of the film is he has to look like he's a real drug user. So he actually, instead of using a fake hypodermic needle, as the director suggested, he actually shot up saline into his veins, or so he says, and he was not very cool on using needles, but he did it because he wanted it to look as authentic as possible. He is good. He has a few moments that I thought a little bit too much staring into space moments. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine when characters stare thoughtfully into space over and over again. A little bit too much of that for me. That could be more the director's fault than the actor's fault. And there's also a few moments where, with his 70s styles hair and his beard, he's looking a little bit too much, and the way he wears his clothes, a little bit too much like a rock star. More than once as I was watching this, I thought, is he supposed to be Jim Morrison or something? What's going on here? The way his expression and the way he looked. But overall, it was good. Another thing about his acting style is he admits, and the director admits, his style really clashed with his co-star. And his co-star was Jennifer Jason Leigh. She plays the rookie narcotics agent undercover. She was in a lot of great movies, and I really like her a lot in The Hateful Eight, and of course Fast Times at Ridgemont High, probably her breakout role, and the David Cronenberg film Existenz. Here, boy, I don't know. The two of them together, the chemistry really didn't seem to be there. And it probably is because of the conflicting acting styles. He's much more instinctive, I think, and authentic. And she's much more studied, where she really got into the character's background and talked to the author of the book it was based on, who actually was a narcotics agent in the undercover in the 1970s. Asked her what kind of shampoo she uses, how that would affect her performance. I have no idea. But I don't think Jason Patric had much patience for that approach. And right away they have a sexual relationship, which I found pretty unbelievable. And they seemed like just a very odd couple, the two of them together. So was she miscast? Well, at the beginning of the film, when they first see her, she's jogging. She's not a recruit, but she's a rookie, and she's jogging along, and they're watching her, they being Jason Patric and his boss, played by Sam Elliott. And I'm not sure why he chose, why the Jason Patric character chose Jennifer Jason Leigh, except that she's really cute. But I thought right away about the beginning of The Silence of the Lambs, a film that I used in my film class in high school many times, and which I'm very familiar with. And because that starts with Jodie Foster also jogging, and she's a rookie. And the two of them are very similar in height, very similar in their build. But Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs, she becomes much more authoritative as the film goes on. And I think she's much more believable. They have the same accents also. In this one, I'm watching Jennifer Jason Leigh. I'm thinking she's just way too pretty and seems way too delicate and fragile and naive. And she's nervous and trembling in a lot of these scenes where she's supposed to be an undercover drug user and drug dealer. And it's just, I found it a little bit hard to take her seriously and some of those situations that are supposed to be very intense with some very intense people involved. This was directed by Leigh Finney Zanuck. It was her first time as a director. She was married to a very high-powered producer, Richard Zanuck. And since this film, she's only done like music videos and some mini-series. So, Jason Patric, when he found out that she was directing this, he wasn't too happy and he passed on it at first. He thought maybe this is Richard Zanuck giving his trophy wife a little project to work on, but eventually he came around. She does an okay job. The music is by Eric Clapton, and it's pretty good. And we're not going to get into Eric Clapton's comments about COVID or anything, but it's pretty good. And he does use other songs besides his own. It was nice to hear Robin Trower's Bridge of Sighs. I hadn't heard that in a long time, but there's a cringy part at the end where it must be a helicopter shot or something, because we're watching Jennifer Jason Leigh jogging along the beach at the end, and Tears in Heaven is playing on the soundtrack while she's jogging, and it's like, this is a bit too much, I thought. Now, the drug lord, speaking of music, the big drug lord they're going after is played by the great Gregg Allman, rest in peace. He only has about 3 or 4 lines, but he's got an incredible presence on the screen, and I'm a big fan. In fact, I got this right here. The Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East, 1971, I think is one of the greatest live albums ever. I love that album, and that's like the big 6 CD set or something. That's how much I like it. But so Gregg Allman's, nice to see him in there. I liked his book too, by the way, My Cross to Bear. You can get that at the library if you want to. As far as noir elements go in this film, well, Max Perlich, the character actor, and he's been in a lot of films. You've probably seen him on TV. You've probably seen him. You recognize him when you see him. I think he was probably the best character in this film. He's kind of a go-between between the narcs. He doesn't know they're narcs, and the drug dealers. And he's pretty much a tragic figure and interesting character. And I think his character and his performance would fit into any classic noir, really, of the 40s and 50s. As far as other noir elements, you have the subculture of the drug dealers and the drug users. You have some corruption on the law side, and on the unlawful side, you have people living on the edge. There's no real sharp dialogue involved, no real visual style to speak of, and some of the characters, like the 2 main characters, they could have been a little deeper, I thought. So I did enjoy the film, though. It's totally watchable. It's just not that great. So I'm going to give this one 3 hypodermic needles out of 5. So what's on this disc? Well, this is part of that box set, so it's an imprint disc. There are 2 commentaries on here, neither of which I listened to. There are about 4 features that run about 15 minutes each, one with Jason Patric being interviewed. These are all new features, by the way. And he's a pretty serious, intense guy, and pretty honest, brutally honest guy, too. Interesting interview. There is a interview with the director, interview with the Kim Wozencraft, who wrote the novel this is based on, who, like I said, was an undercover narc agent in Texas in the 70s. And then there is an interview, there's a video essay about part of the film, which was just okay. The picture looks fine, it sounds fine. Where can you see Rush? If you have Amazon Prime, you also have this thing called Freevee. You can see it on there, it's included. And otherwise, you can try your library, or you can always rent it. So, there we go. Hope you like this video. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down there. Some shout outs, as the kids say. Since my last episode, people have left some interesting, wonderful, civilized comments. Let me see if I can go through this fast. We have RMIHIO. I'm not sure how you say that. We have Jarvis, loyal subscriber. Michael, another loyal viewer. We have Martin, another loyal viewer. Sid, charter subscriber. Tina, of course, and Monsieur Maurice. Thank you all for commenting. And you can be just like them. You can comment as well. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Don't forget to look for us on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. Other things I watch that I comment on and give ratings to. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. See you next time.